Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. I'm here in Spain with the immortal Lena Rodriguez, and I just want to tell you, the scenery is as beautiful as she. Take a look, you guys. This is Spain. It's hard to see, but out there, sort of at the end of the river, is that little rock is actually Gibraltar. We're in a place called Gosin.
And from here, you can see North Africa. It's amazing. We're right on the southern tip of Spain.
And we haven't forgotten our viewers, although we're having a fantabulous rest. We haven't forgotten y'all. And we want to do some cards and some channeling today. First on our agenda is Madison Cawthorne.
No, France.
Sorry. She's in control here. It's France election.
Yeah, Macron got over the line, which is great.
Vive la France.
Vive la France. Great news in the sense that the evil Le Pen didn't get up. But you know what worries me, Dave, because France is still very split over this issue. It's very like the UK, who went all the way with Brexit, right? Separating themselves from the rest of Europe, the rest of the world. And what's happening in the UK now is because they've stemmed immigration, people are beginning to realise where all those immigrants worked. And they worked in all the low-paid industries like the national health system, but as unskilled workers, as well as those, of course, who are highly skilled. And they get forgotten in the immigrant debate as well. But also the aged care sector and everything is now on its knees because they haven't got those immigrant workers. And I was just reading this morning, farmers are warning in the UK, they're looking at fuel shortages, fertiliser shortages, feed for cattle, everything is going up because they're not attached to the EU anymore, so they're having to pay more for every single thing. And they said you're looking at food shortages, and Britain is sleepwalking into major food shortages.
It's like a 1938, for this nation. I mean, what were they thinking? Yeah, there's so much to talk about here. I don't really know where to start.
I know, it's massive. But on a lighter note, Dave, what about the images of Madison Cawthorne?
Yes, here's to the juicy bits. Now, first of all, I want y'all to know, yes, once I did do drag. It was many years ago. It was Halloween. I was really good, right? And I have no real desire to do it again, although, get me drunk at a party, I might be convinced, as will many heterosexual males. I'm sure they were happy to have fun like that. However, Madison Cawthorne is a different story, and if you look at the pictures, he doesn't do very good drag, among other things. So we don't want to judge anybody for doing that. That's perfectly okay. It is not okay when you judge everyone else and talk about how there's only two genders, and you use it as a platform to become a political person with power.
Yeah, and this whole evangelical thing, he's Baptist, whatever the difference is. And, he's got the hotline to Jesus and all that stuff that, that he leads with all the time. And in case you haven't seen it, it's classic. He's in women's lingerie, and I would say he's had a few drinks and possibly something else as well. So that is gold. So let's see what's happening with Madison.
Sure.
Do you want to channel first, Dave?
Sure. Well, I did want to point out, there is just something about those who scream the loudest. It's always that person who's yelling, I'm straight, I'm normal, I'm straight, I'm normal. And there's also just an interesting coincidence. Just as he was going against the Republican Party themselves, suddenly the pictures materialize. Who's in control here? So let's channel here on Madison. It's going to be a really funny channel. I'm giggling already. And I mean, no one likes to take pride in somebody else's demise. But you're just looking at this guy, and it's just quite pathetic. I'm not going to go so far as to say I feel sorry for him, but I am looking at him as a ruined man. He is so embarrassed and so humiliated, and sometimes you gotta learn things the hard way, and that's just the way that he's learned them. And, you know, I do get the feeling that the heads of the Republican Party, they decided to release that information. It goes right up to the top. They had those pictures for a while. They knew that they were there. And now they've cut him loose, and he is aware of this. Anything else on Madison? It's like he's been struck by lightning. And, you know, again, not to feel sorry for anyone, this is leading to an awareness. This has been a long time coming, that he's had many opportunities to change, and the only way for him really to change is to lose everything, to be humiliated like this. Yeah, I don't see any future for this person. Even on a personal level, he will be ostracized.
I'm going to broaden the question out a bit for my cards. Oh, I can't see anything in the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Because we keep hearing these scandals from, I don't even like to use the word clergy, of these
Right.
evangelical groups, because they take these Taliban ideas about the role of women, and they're the ones to condemn the sexualizing of children. And yet always you hear these dreadful stories coming out. So my question is the hypocrisy of these small-minded, hyper-religious groups. You know, these are people who actually believe God made the world in 6 days and all of the stuff that goes with it. So I want to see, I'm not that confident, we'll see what the cards say. As one by one they get exposed, like Jerry Falwell Jr., you know, with his pants around his ankles and the beer can and the third party and all of that, is it sapping away at their trust in their own leaders? Is it impacting? Is the hypocrisy impacting?
Good
There,
question.
got there in the end. Is the hypocrisy impacting in evangelical communities? Okay, all right. So we'll bring this down so you can see the cards go down, and then I'll pull them up again. I haven't
how
seen that card
interesting.
before. We'll share
Not
this
tame,
with
are
you
they?
as
Sorry,
you go.
this is PG rated.
Yes. I'm still experimenting with this new deck, but in light of the question, it's absolutely hilarious. So I'm glad this is on your channel, Dave. Now, in the middle, strangely, the King of Pentacles, but it's almost a Moses-like figure, isn't it? Because again, there's this literal thing with any conservative group. In Islam, it's the Taliban or whatever, and in these groups. So they see these biblical figures in a certain way. But here, look, he's got money in his eyes, he's got money in his beard, he's got money in his hair. And these are these mega churches, right, that are taking off everywhere. And it's all about you pay me, the pastor, money to, I don't know, somehow intercede on your behalf with God or something. So this is at the centre of it, right here. Now, underneath, this is the three women, and it's,
It just,
a few technical issues as it goes to sleep from time to time. I think women's power has been suppressed by these religions. Like, he is sitting on the energy of the women who should be celebrating their life-giving properties and their role in the family, which isn't just about being chained to the sink, barefoot and pregnant. Like, can we please move along? So they're being thwarted. And I think some women are beginning to question it. So then in the immediate past, we have the King of Cups. And coming up, we've got 2 Cups cards, which are emotions. So this is, look, you've got the Jonah and the whale story, you know, and all of this. Because people are brought into these communities as babies, talk about brainwashing. It literally is brainwashing from naught. And so emotionally, they're bound up with their religion in a way the Catholic Church always managed to do, although that's breaking down now. The Protestant churches in the US, you know, you just work hard and die, you know, like no parties. It's still all coming back to people's emotions and their emotional relationship with their communities and the morality. That's the point I'm trying to get to, the morality of those communities. Now on top here we have the Queen. So we've got the King and Queen of this same suit. So this is the Queen, and I think this is alluding to the potential. If women can wake up and realise they're being bulldozed by this patriarchal religion, so it's not just their husband, brother, uncle, grandfather who is the boss of their house or their world, it's a bigger picture. And I think the energy coming through globally is much more female, and our salvation rests in this. But let me share the outcome to the question. Are they beginning to see the hypocrisy of these people who say no sex before marriage and therefore you have to get married at 14 because you want to have a bonk? You know, like it's too stupid. Anyway, this is the last card,
now,
which I'll leave with you.
About?
I don't know. I don't know. Have another look. Because this is exactly what they're doing everywhere. And I just finished a book, Dave. It's a thriller, and it's based around someone who gets their DNA test, and this is happening everywhere. We know there's some real surprises coming out when people get their DNA tests. And to spoil the story, what happens at the end when this guy realised he kept getting all these half matches with all these different people? You start thinking, how can this be? And it turns out to be the evangelical pastor who had sired all these children. So he had all these half-brothers and sisters in these different families. So there you go.
Amazing what science tells us. Yeah. I do really think that it's an important point about community. And to the credit of these people who join religions which don't do particularly good things, they want community. That is their desire.
That's what the craving is.
People to meet on Sunday. They need help. They need support when their car breaks down or when they lose their job. That's what they are desirous of. I would just like to suggest that we are also a community, and we can also support each other, but outside of the hypocrisy and in a much more real and, I think, fundamental way. Even though these communities are demonstrating themselves to be such dark places, it doesn't mean that your community has to be that way. In fact, I would say our communities are being formed in opposition to that, and that's a great thing. So, what's next on our list?
Well, we were going to just chat about the Russian gas executives this week. So, unlike the poisonings of Putin's opposition, this is a different dimension because these were actual paid shootings of oligarchs who were gas executives and their families too this week.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah,
in
just
a way.
shocking.
But of course, when you dance with the devil, these things happen, It is intriguing to me that Putin has gone the direction of absolutely solidifying power in a sense that's really no different than Stalin or anybody else. It's just got a sort of capitalist gloss over it. But imagine you are a Russian person and you've made certain compromises. You've made them because at the very least the economy's getting better. You're doing better in some ways. At least you're not starving. There's food on the shelves. But how long is that going to be true for? And who right now is really benefiting and doing that much better than they were under a communist regime? It shows me real fear on Putin's part and it's inspiring a real fear on everybody else's part.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, intuitively, do you feel like somebody's going to take him out?
I think it's entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment only.
I think it's inevitable that something untoward will happen to Putin one way or another, but it's who replaces him. This is what I've been harping on since the beginning of this. So I don't think they're out of the woods. But I think in Russia there's definitely, like everywhere, an intergenerational split. So the older Russians who are watching state TV, and that's all they hear, the equivalent of Fox News, except it's Putin's worldview, and younger people who have access to other sources and want a different sort of freedom. They don't want to just survive.
Yeah, just give it a tap. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go back stateside.
Sure.
We're going to New York.
Oh, right. Alvin
All
Bragg.
right, so we thought we'd separate Alvin Bragg and Letitia James for this. So, Dave, can you please work your wonders on Alvin Bragg, the man, and Alvin Bragg, what is happening, if anything, with this investigation?
It's very, very interesting, this image that I have of Bragg. And I just get a very corrupt feeling about him. Just very corrupt, like very like a street level thug kind of feeling about him. Very craven. He's the epitome of that guy who says all the right things, but underneath he has his own agenda. It just gives me a very, very sociopathic feeling of someone who does not believe in the rule of law. He is using the rule of law. Let's see, what are you going to do, Alvin? Okay, I'm seeing the coast. The coast of, kind of like this, the coast of a faraway country. He's pointing to it. Oh, is that... Okay, I'm just going to check and make sure this is right. Am I seeing... Oh, there's money abroad. He's got some money abroad. He's looking around. He's very, very nervous about it. He doesn't want people to know. He's wondering how long he can keep it a secret. Ooh, I'm seeing him in chains. Oh. So, Spirit, can we confirm this? What does that mean? I feel very much like there are going to be consequences for him. You know, this will not be... it's not just going to go away. He thinks he can control it right now. But he will be surprised. Yeah, I think he's going to get caught. And I think this is going to be yet another scandal that implicates the Trumpists. You know, who bribed you?
There's a question.
Who bribed you? And it's not the top people that bribed him. They had some underlings do it. But they're not far below the top people. So they also have something to lose if they get caught. Spirit, one more thing about Bragg. Can you tell me one more thing? Huh. So here's Bragg. You know, you get a cold coin, you want to just make sure it's gold, and you bite into it, see how soft it is? That's what he's done. Is it real money? Okay, I'm good to go. Right. Those are the ethics of this person. And, you know, I do feel like we're finally seeing some consequences. You know, Cawthorne's an example. Finally, the karma is starting to pick up. I hate to be too optimistic because we've been optimistic before. But I do feel like there's consequences this time.
Awesome.
Let's go on to Letitia.
Letitia, let's have a look.
Go Letitia.
How angry would she have been at Alvin Bragg?
Yep.
And I think part of the Bragg story, intuitively, I feel it comes back to Cyrus Vance. He was so determined to retire in this time frame. He's leading the biggest investigation, that we've seen since Watergate, and he was saying all the time, I'm totally committed, but I am sorry, I've got to retire, time's up. TikTok. So it'll probably come back to that. But let me focus here on Letitia James. She's doing the civil case, so she can't send people to jail, but she has the power to disband the Trump org. So Letitia, personally, and the civil case. Letitia.
I get great vibes for her.
Oh, sorry. I'll pull that down. Oh, that's good. Oh, she's really got some difficult stuff coming up here. Okay, so here we go. Now, on the bottom, look, with this 10 of Wands, sorry everybody, can't have the view and clear vision. Tens are culminations, right? So she's getting close to the end of this process. And we're all pleased to hear that, because it's been an ordeal, hasn't it? Think back to 2016, 17 to think we'd still be wrestling with these issues now, right? So here you go with her. She's nearing the end of this. She has this 6 of Pentacles here, and then in a moment we have the 7 of Pentacles. So this is about, she's looking into how money changes hands, fundamentally. I'm jumping to this next card here because it's related to that card. So with the 7 of Pentacles, you are evaluating, have I done enough? Have I crossed those T's and dotted those I's? Is it ready to go? Because it's near the end now with this 10. So she's really appraising that. She has the Sun, which I think is her personal thing, that the complete conviction and the ability, and it's all coming together, shining a light. The Sun always illuminates what's going on with the money. Then I predict she's going to have a setback, quite a major one. Here's the 10 of Swords. Just before she releases it all, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's not personal pressure brought to bear, or even threats to her. Right? I would not be surprised. I get quite a dangerous vibe with this. So I think she's going to be threatened. However, the difference between her and Alvin Bragg is she comes out singing, the Lady of Swords, major judicial figure, which is her. So unlike him, who I think we generically agree, he was so bribable. You didn't have to threaten him. You just offered him money and he was there, and here's an account in the Seychelles, and he was a happy man, you know. Right. And now I agree with you. I think it's going to double back on him, because I don't think he's played the game as long as the others. This is the thing. It's like he's a bit of a legal jock. Right. You know what I mean? He's been to law school, but really it was so I can make money or something. There's that vibe about him, not for doing the right thing. Right. Her motivation is completely different from his, which is righting the wrongs, and that's why she gets the rewards. So let's hope.
do you not find it really interesting that it is the woman who is after the justice, not the man, and specifically in this case, an African-American women?
Yeah.
And we keep noticing this, that women are the ones that are stepping up and complaining with power. And
I mean, we're handicapped with the Lauren Bobarts and the Marjorie Taylor Greens, but let's face it, and there's always been demonic and badly behaved selfish women. However, we're talking about the feminine principle in the universe and all the good things that women represent here. Yeah.
And I think, I hope I'm an example that men can get there, straight men can get there.
Absolutely.
It's just maybe a little bit longer to get there. Maybe
Well, it's
just
all
one more
about
step.
their affinity with women in their lives.
I think so.
And understanding those principles in nature as well, don't you think?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And the acceptance of the feminine principle in
themselves.
all of us. Yeah. Can we not just go there? For
Yeah.
goodness sakes, let's just all grow up.
Yes, moving on.
Wow. So,
Our last topic today.
our favorite, Garland. Garland.
Oh, the big M.
What will he do?
What will he
You want
do?
to go first?
Okay, I'll go first with Merrick Garland. God help us all. A lot rests on this man's shoulders.
Yes.
Merrick Garland.
And we do have to give him some credit. He is not giving it away, which is, the way law is supposed to work. It didn't work that way for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a pedestal upon which you, attack others.
No.
It is supposed to be a legal process, which you're supposed to be quiet about until you prosecute. So maybe he's going to do the right thing.
Oh, I sure hope so.
Yeah.
Merrick Garland. So, I want to know about the momentum behind the scenes. I hope it's got more momentum behind the scenes than it does in front of house, that's for sure. But what's going on behind the scenes with Merrick Garland, okay? Let's have a look, beloved ones. Oh, goody.
Getting the sun again.
Okay. All right. Phew, I'm happy enough with these.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So let's go. Bang. First off the bat, the sun. Working to bring the sun into corners of darkness that have eroded the entire higher echelon of the US lawmakers. The GOP, for all its faults, who would have dreamt it would go this far down the toilet in support of this man? So I'm loving that. Okay. Then we have the Seven of Cups, which is things, because this is in the immediate past position, weren't all that clear how many people were involved, who was involved, who do we go after, how do we prioritise these cases, which teams are in charge of what, how you bring the story back together to a cohesive narrative. That was not an easy process in itself. I think he's got top-notch women, here we go again, top-notch women working for him. He's playing his cards close to his chest here with this Four of Swords, the card of retreat. I don't think he is in retreat as such. This is him, because he's old school legal. So he's not like a Michael Avenatti where you go on CNN every night and think, even though we'd love to hear more from you. So, Merrick, if you're listening, please find a way. But I think this is what it's about, and there's been no leaks, runs a tight ship, okay? And he's victorious in the end. This is the king, normally the king of coins, and this is in its most powerful aspect because this is a positive spread as far as I'm concerned. So I think he will reign supreme over this. So it's just got to come, hopefully before the midterms, there's something that can break through this wall that between the sort of news that people consume. This is the big problem we're up against. If everyone was watching the same news, they can have a different relationship to that news. But the problem is people aren't seeing what these people are capable of.
Yes.
But I like this lion quality as the final card here.
Yes. Well, just as you were reading, I got that sort of justice that we've been hoping to see for some time, and we have to recognize that for 4 years, this was not normal legal processes. In a legal world, you are not supposed to go, and the President of the United States is not supposed to comment on any legal process. It is absolutely forbidden for you to do that, but Trump got away with it. So now we're kind of expecting the song and dance out of the Biden administration, which is trying to go back to a normal process. And so keep in mind that Garland is, on some level, not selling out. He is doing it the way that he's supposed to. And he's doing it in such a straight legal fashion that whatever happens in the next midterms, this can continue. They can't really get rid of Garland, even if he loses even if we were to lose the House of Reps or the Senate. You still have the legal process. It still proceeds. Obviously, you still got a jury you've got to convince. But that jury is probably going to be pretty much the same, whoever takes the Senate. But let's take a look at him. See, I just see him kind of smiling this sort of little bit of a Cheshire Cat smile, kind of going, look, we're not going away. I'm proceeding in the way that it's supposed to. This is what is supposed to happen. He shows me the sword. Now, I got February, so do not expect a complete revelation until next February. But he is starting to put out little drops of information. And if you notice, things are starting to come to light. Little bits, little pieces of information that are not, and that's not accidental. Garland knows what he's doing, and he's putting out just enough for people to know what's going on. What else are you going to do, Garland? And he's showing me the other thing is there's a lot of different cases going on.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
From the outside, we think of it as the case,
right.
And it's not the case. January 6th is not a single thing. Yeah.
It's a lot of little cases, like so many that we can't really follow it. And he says in order for us to put out all 11, 12 cases of treason before you, and I definitely get treason, all of those cases have to have explicit, totally complete information before you even get started. Because one case could ruin the other case. One case fails, it undermines all of them. People who have been promised immunity, etc., they need to get that immunity. There's so many complicated measures. He is looking at me and he's saying, this is the most complicated legal case in the history of the United States.
Yes.
Do not underestimate the number of minds, and the fact that these people are silent shows the incredible integrity that is going on with this case. This is going to be an example for future generations of how to avoid other cases of treasonous behavior. The country's integrity, the democracy is on the line, and he really does have to be a sort of example. Now, Mr. Garland, is there anything else you can tell me? He kind of puts his hands on his hips and he's like, I don't know if I should tell you anymore, but I'll give you like one little bit. He says, he keeps showing me the lavender that's right next to us. It's like, just smell the lavender. It's kind of like, trust the organic process. Know that we're going to, it's beautiful. Know that we are going in the right direction. Ooh, a ship. The ship leaves the port. Sunny skies. There will be a tempest, and we have to be prepared to be the tempest. And now that it is sunny, now that we have the freedom to do this, we've got to do everything in our power to prepare for the difficult voyage. We cannot give you the details right now. If we gave you too many details, that would make them be able to plan ahead and undermine the case. It all leads to Trump, and that is what every case will lead to. And he's also pointing out that is the goal. The goal isn't just the underlings, whether Trump goes to prison or not, whether he ultimately pays for it. It must be part of a historical record that in each of these cases they were led by Donald Trump, and that this was an attempt to turn the country to a dictatorship. He actually finally goes like this.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
Namaste to
Namaste, Garland. And to all y'all.
Intrepid viewers, see you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Good. I think that was juicy enough.